Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, Danger Street / First Issue Special Read Through, Episode 4, Lady Cop. I have never read Lady Cop, and I just read it twice today. So let's get started with the main title we're talking about is Danger Street. And it's been a while since I've done one of these, so gentle reminder, we are covering Danger Street, which is a series by Tom King about, using all the characters that appeared in First Issue Special, a 70s tryout book. And let's get started. So this is Danger Street 4. I just got it today, which is the 8th of April. This was released on March 14th. I had not had a chance to go to my comic shop in a few weeks, and I went and played catch up, and this was in that stack. It is by Tom King, Jorge Fornes, as writer, artist, Dave Stewart, colorist, Clayton Cowles, letterer, Jolie Jones, variant cover artist, which is a very nice cover. I just posted it. It looks like an exploitation movie, which is what I thought this comic was going to be, the Lady Cop one. But we'll get to where I misjudged the book. But let's kind of go over what happens in this issue of Danger Street 4. The 3 surviving dingbats are at the library getting scolded for talking too loud by Ms. Fetter. And they've looked Starman, they've looked Michael up on the internet, and they're like, and to quote it, Starman, okay, that's him, right? Whatever he is, I don't effing care. I'm adding the swear words which are not, are done with symbols. We gotta kill this dude. Non-fat? Are you out of your mind? So, the dingbats have found out who killed their friend. That should not be funny, but it is to me. The scene's kind of, it's not, I liked it. I thought it was a nice way to start this issue. And of course, Dr. Fate's helmet is telling the story with narration, which is almost fairy tale-ish. And next it's one of the boy millionaires, J.P. Houston, who is showing these guys this forest and telling how they're going to make a lot of money from it, because he is a Gordon Gekko. He is a miniature Donald, whatever. It's all about the cash. And he's telling her about it. And he turns around, and all the dudes that were with him, his bodyguards, are dead. And there is Manhunter. And Manhunter just says, "Run." And he goes, the kid tries to buy his way out of it, then just goes, "Jesus expletive Christ," and starts running into the woods. He knocks himself down. Drops his phone. He's calling for help. He's calling Codename Assassin. And then Manhunter picks up the phone. And Codename Assassin, when he hears Manhunter's voice, knows exactly what's going on. And he asks him, "Do you have a name?" "Manhunter." "You?" "My codename is Assassin. I'm responsible for these boys." Codename Assassin, I have responsibilities. Crack. And he's crushed the boy millionaire's throat. There's one, 3 to go. Pretty dark. It is. It was a great sequence. I'm really digging this book. It's got a little cinematic flair to it. It really kind of, certain points, it's a little Spielberg, Joe Dante with the kids, with a little profanity. And then with this, Codename Assassin and Manhunter is very much like a 70s thriller, which I love some of those. I'm, showing my age, but I love this. Next, we cut away to Orion, who's heading to Earth. And the Mother Box is giving him directions. He's following up on what Highfather and Darkseid have said him. They're aiming for him to become the replacement for Atlas. And then we cut to Lady Cop, who this time, the books that sync up is this and Lady Cop. She is target practicing with one of her deputies, and she is quite proficient. And he's asking, we should call for Superman. And he goes, "Why don't we just say it?" And she goes, I did it one time. And he asks it because I was hiding under a bed and I said his name thinking he could hear me. And, she just nothing happened. But he says something. She responds his responses. But you're right. He certainly looks nice on TV. And the deputy goes, What were you doing under the bed? Oh, just lying there listening to things, deciding to become a cop. See, I never read Lady Cop until after I read this, so that didn't make any sense to me. But then that first issue special, it's going to come up to. We're going to talk probably more about Lady Cop than we do about this. We cut all the characters have to make their appearance. Creeper stops this racist white dude from killing this immigrant, and Mr. Right Wing, the Creeper, gets called a commie, and he beats the guy up some more, and he's talking about how the immigrant that this guy was beating up was an outsider, and that's making Jack / Creeper think about, who are these outsiders that I've been paid to destroy, whose reputation I've been, am I talking just about immigrants, or am I talking about something more, which is what I think he thought it was, something more. Mark Shaw goes to the leader of the Manhunters, and they have a little conversation there. I don't know what their plot is. I don't really have a guess other than killing the boy millionaires and all these other people. We cut back to the library, and there is Travis Morgan, Warlord, flirting with the librarian to get some information to find out where the little boy that was killed by their negligence is buried. And they're driving around in their very nice, convertible with Dr. Fate's helmet in a bowling ball bag. We cut back to Jack comes to confront the other boy millionaire, one of the other boy millionaires. And he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. And the little boy, this one's a bigger punk of the one. He walks right up to him, makes Ryder kneel down so they can look eye to eye, and he slaps Jack Ryder and starts cussing at him and saying, you do what you're told. And he just basically treats Jack like a dog. These kids, man, I didn't think it was going to be, because having read the Boy Millionaires one, it was just kind of like, I didn't think him as evil. But King's made him evil. And I don't think it really changes them any. It's the blind, the movie producer, the businessman. It just, these things that represents the worst parts of capitalism is kind of what I think King's going for. And I don't disagree. I think it works. We have one beautiful one-page of art of Orion flying over the ocean, making waves. Then we cut to back to the street, and one of the dingbats sees Starman in the car. And then Codename Assassin, he has a little mission. The leader of the Manhunters is watching the 1936 version of The Great Gatsby at a vintage movie house, and he gets killed. And I think there's a connection from Codename Assassin with the Manhunters, because the Manhunter leader says when Codename Assassin sits next to him in the movie theater, the leader of the Manhunter goes, "No man escapes the Manhunters." And then there's just a dialogue of the movie, and he dies. We don't know how yet, but that was kind of cool. And then we cut to Starman and Warlord digging up a grave, and then Orion shows up. And then the last page is kind of gets us to everywhere we want to go, where I want to go, where we're going to be. Things are coming up. It's kind of like a Watchmen 9 panel. It's the dingbat kid telling his buddies that he saw Starman. We cut to the dead body of the boy millionaire that was dead in the woods. The dead Manhunter in the next panel. Jack Ryder speaking. He's back on TV, stirring up trouble for the outsiders, whoever they're talking about. The other boy millionaire is, I'm assuming he's poisoned, dead on his desk. Manhunter before standing before the empty throne. Warlord looking up at Orion, grabbing his 45, not your best move. And then Lady Cop. And then the final narration. So we're third of the way through of the series, and I think I'm enjoying it. I think each issue gives you something. This one was a lot. There was a lot. Advancing the plots along. The art is stunning. I just spent 10 minutes talking about, and not saying much about it. I find it, and I kind of laughed and I kind of joke at what I'm seeing when I'm going through it. I really hope you guys are reading it. It's a great fourth chapter to the novel, the way I look at it, with these Tom King out of continuity series. I've heard great things about Mr. Miracle, and I've heard bad things, because Tom King can really draw different opinions. And I get it. I think it was Max brought up, Max, who's a big proponent from Weird World Tales, he made the comment of one post, I think it was him, it said, Ross is reading it so I don't have to, and I don't mind that. I understand there's certain things I think he has some issues, and he made a comment, and I hope I'm remembering this right, and that it was him, that he didn't like what King was doing with Warlord and Starman, because it wasn't in the way they've been portrayed in the past, and the way people have liked them in the past. And I read Warlord religiously because my brother bought it. I don't think I would have bought it, but he bought it and I read it. A lot of great Mark Grell, a lot of great sci-fi, fantasy, weird, science fiction. I think it was my favorite of that kind of genre. One, it was Grell, and Grell was big when I first started reading comics like Legion and Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and Warlord. And then I read a lot of other stuff. And I've thought about it. In one way, yes, he's right. This is not their main character. This is, and I'll say this Heroes in Crisis, I really am on the side of I really hated it. I mean, I don't normally say hate. I really disliked it. I didn't think it worked well for me. I don't like what some of the characters did. I just didn't enjoy it. I think I'm more on that bandwagon. But every other thing I've read of Tom King's I've liked. I really liked his Batman with the superpowered Gotham pair. Batman comes off my list faster than most things when I've got to cut it, because there's just so much of it. And I really love Rorschach. And I'm going to look at Mr. Miracle, and I'm going to look at Strange Adventures. And Pat at the comic shop I go to, Velocity Comics, Richmond, Virginia, go to it. He recommended I wait until that came out in trade and read it in one sitting. And that's kind of real I want to do with the other stuff. I read his Vision series. I like it. So I've liked all this, and I've said this before, blah, blah, blah. But I'm really enjoying what he's doing with this. But I think when it comes to characters like Starman and Warlord, I think Max isn't wrong. I think that is one way to take it. But the way I take it is, I want to go back to why he's doing what he started this as was, I'm going to take characters from a specific series that was one-shots characters. I think he's really basing these characters, I don't think he's changing them much from since their first appearance. He's really kind of holding, because Travis isn't wearing his later Warlord suit. He's wearing his original gray one that was more a costume than, the sword and sorcery kind of outfit he ends up with. And Michael is still wearing his original. He's not wearing any later costume. I think it's like that any of the stuff that we see has happened, like Michael and Starman, Warlord and his stuff, Metamorpho was a Justice Leaguer, and he makes a reference to it later, that not everything that's happened to them in normal continuity has happened to them. He's really holding them as just older versions of these characters that were introduced in 1974, and the rest is nebulous. He's using the original first issue special series. He's keeping the characters closer to that, but with just a little more jaded side on some of them, or a little more serious side. So I hope that made sense. I just think he's really leaning into the trick. I mean, it is a trick. He decided to make. He wrote a story and he gave himself very specific parameters. Has I don't know. I don't want to use the term intellectual exercise because you should write what you want to do. I just think he was like, this is a neat idea and I want to do it. It's why I started to read it. I thought it was a neat idea. So that's but let's talk Lady Cop because I do want to talk Lady Cop. All right. Lady Cop was in first issue special number 4. It was cover dated July 1975. Cover artist Dick Giordano. It's a very nice cover. It's got like an orange-brown background. And Lady Cop is fighting a dude with a chain, and she's got a billy club. And I do not understand why she's wearing a skirt. She's wearing a skirt in her uniform. And I will look back, but I don't remember 70s women cops. There weren't many, but did they wear skirts? That would be stupid. But I wouldn't put it past them as thinking that was an appropriate uniform for a woman because it was different times. All right, Lady Cop was created by Robert Kanigher, writer, penciler John Rosenberger, who I've never heard of again. Vinnie Coletta inks. Vinnie's inks were really good in this, and I've dogged Vinnie, so I think he worked really well on this. Editor was Saul Harrison. The synopsis in here is one sentence. After witnessing her roommate's murder, Liza Warner decides to... it's Liza with the Z. To join forces... Let me start over. The witnesses... After witnessing her roommate's murder, Liza Warner decides to join the police force to track down her killer. The name of the story is Lady Cop, Poisoned Love. So there's a lot to say about this comic. And I'll just kind of go through the highlights of what I thought of it. One, it is 1975. Robert Kanigher wrote a lot of Wonder Woman, wrote pretty good Wonder Woman from what I understand. I'm not as versed in Wonder Woman pre-Crisis. I read some of the stuff set in the 40s, which was Kanigher. I read her in Justice League, and I really didn't read her religiously until, the George Perez or the Joel Thompson and some of the later stuff, more recent stuff. But, I like that they had a female character in a trial. For 75, that'd be rare. But it's interesting. It starts literally with her hiding under the bed, and this person in green pants with yellow piping and white cowboy boots with skull and crossbone things hanging from them, kill her roommates and leave Ace of Spades. And we're hearing this conversation, and Liza's just watching it, and as her roommate's pleading for her life, and then the bad guy, plenty of cards left in my deck. And this is the killer, the person in the cowboy boots, dropping the cards by the dead bodies of Liza's roommates, going, plenty of cards left in my deck to deal to the chicks I'm gonna meet. All Ace of Spades. So I get this is inferring she's a serial killer. And the cops come in and they're taking pictures while she's sitting on the bed, and her dead roommates are there. This is so wrong. It actually looks very kind of George Tuska-esque the more I look at this art. But she's being interviewed by another woman cop. Oh, let's say Lady Cop. I keep saying Lady Cop. It sounds so offensive or so silly, or both at the same time. But she witnesses it, and the female officer is like, wow, you have a good memory. You could be you might think about going to the police academy. And then it cuts to her dreaming, and she's dreaming of the boots and the playing cards and her dead roommate, and she swears to herself in her sleep that she will find the killer, and she joins the police force. And she does really well, and she's at her graduation, and it looks like Pete Ross, this little blonde guy running, and he's screaming, you flunked me out of the academy. He's got a grenade. She karate chops him in the neck, catches the grade while it's hissing, throws it in a trash can, dives, blows it up, and is a hero. And then we had the splash page for the main story. That was just her origin. That took about 5 pages. And it's got an inner splash page, and it's got Poison Love as the title. It's very exploitation. It's really of the year. And it says, the gleaming badge on the blue uniform is a lighthouse beacon for floundering humans in the stormy sea of humanity in the manic metropolis. It is also a target for human sharks that lurk in the shadows. The uniform, which puts its owner's heart and life on the line 24 hours a day, is worn by Officer Liza Warner. and she's preventing a rape on a roof. I don't. It just kind of we just kind of jump to that, and the girl goes downstairs, and then the two tough guys that were gonna rape the girl get their butts kicked by Liza, and arrested. And then she goes off looking. She walking down. She very good beat cop. She walks her beat. She buys a little girl an ice cream cone. And then she's warned by one of the neighbors that the bad guy's looking for her, that she arrested, and she catches the girl, or she can't catch her. She finds her, and she's accidentally and overhears a conversation, and it becomes a story of this poor girl's got VD from her boyfriend. That really, it was like all of a sudden it was an after-school special meets Mannix. Google Mannix if you're a lot younger than me, but like 70s cop show. She breaks up another robbery, gives the shop owner CPR, goes on her date with her boyfriend, who, is he a cop? No. Yeah, I guess he is a cop. So she got, and then she's trying to save this girl. It's just like a 70s cop show. It's written really like that, where, the main character comes entangled in another person's life. And it's all about, they took, the lady cop and the young lady are at the waterfront, and the young, she's just trying to help the girl. And she gives her this really harsh thing is, be careful. VD's different. It could do bad things to you and you don't know you have it. You need to get checked. And she tells her to go to the family doctor. It reads like an after school special. And then the dad comes up, and you have the moment where he's mad. He's going to be old fashioned and terrible and throw his daughter out because she's besmirked the name. Lady cop has like a one. Lady cop blocks the punches but protects the girl and gives her has a one word balloon speech which turns dad, and it's a happy ending for them. And she get just in time for the ending of the comic. The bad guy that's after her throws her over the pier, but he can't, and he gets dragged in with her, and he can't swim, so she rescues him, and he gets arrested again. And then the final pen is her just going, I wonder if I'll ever find the killer in boots. I really enjoyed the comic. I'm just going to go right to that. But it is dated, incredibly dated. I kind of laughed out of a kitsch laugh, like, well, that's kind of kitschy. It is basically, it read like I was watching a 70s TV show. There were some really bad cop shows when I was little in the 70s. Barnaby Jones, Mannix, Rockford Files, Genius. Some of them were good, but that's what we had on TV. And it read like a really badly written one of those. However, I do like her in Danger Street. And I don't think she's really close to the character in this. She just doesn't have to give sappy speeches or talk about VD. Well, she's going to fight. She's tough for that. When I was doing my research, this character showed up in the Gail Simone Adam, as I think she's the sister of Ryan Cho's girlfriend. I read that book, but it's so long and it didn't stick. I've always thought about go back and read it because I did like him as the Adam. But this is a neat comic to read. One, because it is kind of dated and I'd never read it and I'm enjoying it. But it puts more into context who Liza Warner is in Danger Street and where Tom's taken. The stuff that King is using for her is in this comic, is in this first issue special. So he stayed true to her, but he just kind of took away the dumb stuff and put her in a situation where they're superheroes and stuff. Because I don't know if Lady Cop would have been part of the DCU if it had been successful. Who knows? I don't know. With some of these you don't know. And some of them you do know, because we're going to get to them. The next month is Jack Kirby doing The Manhunter, and I'm looking forward to that. I know I've read that one, but looking forward to it. And I'm really enjoying Danger Street, and I hope you are too. I hope this wasn't too meandering. I'm recording this at midnight. Had a busy day, and I really want this to go up on this Sunday, which is when it will go up because it is now midnight. But I just kind of wanted to make sure I got it out. Remember, Tuesday is Opal City Confidential, and that will be me and the amazing Dave Steele from Earth 2 Podcast talking about issues 5 and 6, which is the first Talking to David and the first Times Past. And then on. As always, Thursday, my Legion review, my Legion adventure. It's just going to be one issue it's a super pet story. And then next week will be probably JSA number 3, which I just got, and Doom Patrol 1. I'm going to do an overview of those two for you guys next week. Okay? All right. Be good. Remember, like I say, be safe, be smart, be kind to one another, and read some comics.